Hello. Happy Sunday. Happy Mother's Day if you are celebrating Mother's Day. But also lots of love if you don't have your mum to celebrate with today. And also if you lost your baby or your child and they're not here to celebrate with you today, you will always be a mum and you will have always had a mum. And sometimes these days can be difficult. So I hear you and I send you lots of love. Don't read the Sunday papers if you're having a moment of calm and reflection today. Might send your blood pressure up. The Reeves sisters are in it again. I mean, my God, when are they ever not in it? And has anyone else noticed? I mean, when was the last time we saw a headline saying that the Labour Party and the Reeves sisters were anything other than a disaster waiting to happen? I mean, it has happened. So today's story, which has sort of been in the social media pool for a week or so. Ellie Reeves did a podcast a few years back. What would you do if you could be Prime Minister for the day? And she said she'd abolish private schools. So for a start, it's a massive home goal because what that says is it was never about the money. We know it was never about the money, but I wish they'd just admit it and stop hiding behind it. This is the ideology, and it's this deep-rooted hatred of something that they didn't have. They did have a phenomenal education. Let's just put it out there. The girls benefited from a academy school, which won't be so phenomenal for the kids following in their footsteps, because of course under Labour's education bill, the academies will lose half of what makes them amazing. But the girls, the Reeve sisters, did have an amazing education, which probably has a lot to do with where they are now. That and the fact that they were indoctrinated to be in the Labour Party from a very early age from their father. But you can't look at the Reeves sisters or any of the other state-educated members of Parliament and say that didn't work for you, can you? Because it did. So what's the point we're making? What is it that we're trying to say that state education isn't doing? Because from where I'm standing, state education is doing everything it set out to do, which is giving children an amazing opportunity to go forwards and be the best that they can be. Yet apparently it's not. So because it's not, we have to penalise another area of education that is also doing what it set out to do, which is give children an opportunity to be the best that they can be. But we'll penalise them because they're doing it, they're paying for it, despite the fact that a lot of the kids in the good Ofsted outstanding schools got there because their parents could afford the houses in the catchment areas. So, you'll pay for it one way. But Ellie's not shown herself in the best of lights. I don't know whether she's been trumped in the papers today by the story of the MP who's got a cockapoo and has claimed expenses for the cockapoo to be looked after. £900. I mean, oh my God. What's it being looked after? Its own butler? So the Reeve sisters and the cockapoo are headline stories. And this falls on a backdrop for me of watching Toxic Town on Netflix last night. I don't know if you've seen it. It's absolutely brilliant. Jodie Whittaker plays a mum of two little boys in Corby, and one of them is born with birth defects, which the premise of the story, and I won't give it away if you haven't seen it, but the premise of the story is that the steel factory nearby is alleged to have caused these birth defects in its dismantling. Now, I'll leave it at that if you want to watch it, but it's a true story about a legal case and about a lot of children in Corby that were born with birth defects. It's a difficult watch, but it's beautifully done. Had tears, everything, all the emotions last night. And it reminded me, not that I've forgotten, but it was another example of what parents will do to protect their children if they feel that their children are being unfairly targeted. And this group of mums who fight for legal justice for their children are dogged. They absolutely won't take no for an answer. It's not easy, with any court case, it's not easy. And it's sort of, akin to Mr. Bates in the post office. And it highlights yet more corruption. It highlights a real... It's a Labour Party in Corby that's running the council, and it highlights a real sense of censorship and violent corruption, honestly speaking. And it sort of makes you think, oh my God, I can't believe that was allowed to happen. And then I get sent messages with links to social media pages about other corruption going on in the UK at this precise moment in time in other areas of the country. And I think, oh, okay, still happens then, still going live and well. But what I think my overarching thought was, there's these group of mums that won't stop until their children's voices are heard. And I feel so strongly, which is why I sit here and do these videos, that we have to advocate for our kids. You know, when we held them in our arms for the first time and they were these new babies, all we wanted to hear was their first cry and see their first breath and know that they were safe. And we all sat there, didn't we, with our babies, making promises that we would do anything and everything to protect them and keep them safe throughout their lives. And here we are in state and private schools having our children's education threatened. And I think the Reeves sisters and Bridget Phillipson and Keir Starmer and Angela Rayner and all of those who voted in favour of the education bill and all of those who voted in favour of imposing VAT on education have massively underestimated their audience, because their audience isn't just private school parents, it is parents. And parents won't stop until they've won what they think is the right for their child to have what their child needs. And in this case, it's a quality education. And watching Toxic Town last night really resonated with me. And I won't give up. And I understand those who can't be vocal. I understand those who can't put their head above the parapet for so many reasons. But I will do it for you. And I will keep going. Because our children, regardless of what educational setting they are in, they deserve the very best. We should be leading by example. We should be their advocates. God knows where the Children's Commissioner is, but we should be fighting for their rights. And as those numbers swell and as those parents get together, as we see news of school cuts, state sixth forms overburdened, nurseries, parents having to pull children out of nurseries because they can't afford the hours, parents having to pull children out of private schools because they can't afford the VAT, parents in state school whose their needs aren't being met, and now they're being met less by the influx of kids from private school. Kids across every sector are being disadvantaged by this government. And I feel that it's the only thing to do, to speak up for them, to advocate for them. So I will. And particularly today on Mother's Day, I will do what I believe is my job and my role as a mum, and I will fight for my kids. So, Ellie Reeves, you can do as many Daily Mail interviews as you like telling me you will abolish or you want to abolish private school. That says so much more about you than it does anything else. And I just wonder what the other mums think to that on Mother's Day. Mums, I wonder what you think to a woman who would threaten your child's education both in state and in private. I don't think you'd think that much of her, would you? I don't.